All you need to do is to scale one thing. If you just scale a multifamily operator company in Phoenix, my friends, you basically crush the world. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the show and welcome back to another Monday Minutes. This is where we talk about the capital raising goods and the business best practices that you need to scale your business. I'm very excited to jump into details today. And by the way, if you're not in our Facebook group, go to facebook.com and search Raising Capital for Real Estate. You'll be able to find a Facebook group with 19,000 capital raisers just like you, learning, striving, growing. There's a lot of free trainings there. There's a lot of case studies there of how people have raised their first $500,000, they've raised their first $10 million, and on and on. Whether you're trying to raise your first or next $1 or $10 million, we have some tools there. There's a lot of free training. All you got to do is go to facebook.com and search for Raising Capital for Real Estate. And for those that are here live right now, you guys are amazing, and they get the content more than a week before you get it here on the podcast. Go over there right now. So my biggest takeaways from the last couple years are pretty simple. I try to learn new things every single year. And as we grow as an entrepreneur and as you grow along with us, we all grow together, it's really important to look back on the year and find out what your big number one key takeaway was. So here are my last 4 key takeaways from the last 4 years. So in 2020, the one thing I learned was that I was way too focused on things that were outside of my control. Now, 2020, I think a lot of people learned that lesson because I was driven insane by the government lockdowns and the COVID regime and all the craziness. That was something that really impacted me. Now, not deeply and darkly, but I was very sympathetic for the people that were on the margin, so to speak, the people that were actually truly struggling. But it was out of my control. And so that was my big lesson I learned in 2020. 2021, I learned a very simple lesson that you can never unlearn, that you can never learn too many times, which is I was thinking too small. I was just playing the game too small and had to think bigger. I had to level up my network. I had to level up the way that I was thinking. I had to level up the ceiling at which I thought I could play. And that was my big lesson of 2021. 2022, the lesson was that I didn't need to be the best in the world at systems because I could hire someone that dedicated their entire life to that one thing. Now, I'll add just a little bit of context to that one. I am an entrepreneur. I can be a little bit frazzle-brained. I can be a little bit ADHD. I can have new ideas come into my brain. I can start implementing them even though they shouldn't be a priority. I'm a normal person that owns a company and AKA not a normal person at all. So I always had this limiting belief in my head that I could never get to the highest of level because I wasn't the most organized, I wasn't the most systematized, I wasn't the most operational focused. But in 2022, my partner, Tyler Lyons at ASIM Capital, had experienced massive internal growth within himself and as a leader. And we brought on Jim Morales shortly after that on the raisingcapital.com side. Both have leveled up in massive ways, and they have dedicated their life to organization and systematizing our respective businesses. This is a huge wake-up moment for anyone that's listening to this. You can succeed way beyond your skill set because the beauty of capitalism is such that you can hire talent that counterbalances your weaknesses. Big lesson there, which is why I wanted to harp on it. So, what was my key takeaway in 2023? I certainly had a key takeaway. 2023 marks the culmination of a lot of hard work on both companies, but the most pronounced success has been on raisingcapital.com as we've gone from 0 to more than 650 active members in RaiseMasters, which is our mastermind for capital raisers. During those 3 years of growth, which were basically a rocket ship, very much unlike anything else I experienced in my life, I started to get opportunities that represented real financial implications, unlike opportunities I had seen in the past. I'm not talking about the opportunity to speak on podcasts. I'm not even talking about the opportunity to network with some successful people. I'm talking about real revenue generating opportunities where there's a very clear path to the bottom line and a very high degree of confidence that that bottom line would be impacted. In fact, so much so that just a couple years earlier, The opportunities that I saw in 2023 might have been life-changing opportunities, but because of the growth we've had at ASIM Capital and RaisingCapital.com, they were not life-changing opportunities. And I'll give you an example. In 2023, I created a course called Fund to Funds Mastery that I was really planning on selling for almost $4,000, $3,997. And based on the market research, I'm confident that we could sell this course for basically $4,000 and it would generate $25,000 a month or $50,000 a month, something like that. But there was a major issue. In order to actually generate that kind of revenue, it was going to take my focus and the focus of my audience. And I know this sounds totally crazy, but my focus and the focus of my audience diverted in the wrong way could cost me way more than 25 to 50K per month. And I know this sounds totally out of balance, but I'm just being honest because I want you to prepare for this as you grow and scale. If this distraction just cost us or my audience one RaiseMaster or two RaiseMasters per month, we would be operating at a loss. And I could easily see that happening when you combine the fact that you've got to take the audience attention and divert it to fund to funds, or my own attention of building out this massive funnel and all the automations. It could easily be that we would be operating at a loss even if it did bring in an extra $25,000 to $50,000 per month. So what is the lesson I learned? Which is understanding opportunity cost. And to be more accurate, understanding a whole new level of opportunity cost. Because as you grow, the level of these distractions gets to a point where it seems absolutely ridiculous. $50,000 a month times 12, you can do the math. It seems ridiculous to think you shouldn't go and pursue that opportunity. Something else happened in 2023 that's similar, which is that after raising tens of millions of dollars for mobile home parks, self-storage, office, industrial, ATM machines, etc., and being compensated well for that, we decided to stop being distracted by all the other asset classes and all the other sponsors and all the due diligence processes that went along with going into new asset classes, and go all in, not just in one asset class, but one market. As many of you know, multifamily just in Phoenix. And I want every single person listening to this to understand why this is the case, but also understand what this means. There is a fund where we have raised, I believe the number is $25 million for, that pays every single month for 7 years. And it pays like clockwork, and it's been paying me for years. And so I know I could raise another $25 million this year for the exact same fund, and yet we totally said no to it. Now, you don't need to do the math to figure out that that's really significant money that I'm not making. Now, why is that? Because I really believe that focus is the key. So on ASIM Capital side of thing, we're going all in, just Phoenix, just multifamily. Do you know why? If you know why and you're in the Facebook group, let me know in the chat. Because the answer, my friends, is that all you need to do is to scale one thing. Just one thing. Scaling one thing is one more than many people listening to this now have scaled, and it's more than almost anyone in the world will scale. Just scale one thing. That is true from everything. From if you just scale a multifamily operator company in Phoenix, my friends, you basically crush the world, right? And once you do scale that one thing, you'll realize that scaling itself complicates things. So your desire as an entrepreneur to go about and have this amazing vision and come up with a new idea and come up with a new strategy and build a new funnel, you will be able to have that thirst quenched by just scaling, because scaling itself is complicated and challenging. And that is why simplicity scales and everything else fails. So we're going all in on RaiseMasters and giving away Fund to Funds Mastery, which, by the way, you can get access to that at fundtofundsmastery.com. Or on the other side, we're going all in on Phoenix multifamily. If you want to learn about investing with us, go to asymcapital.com. At the top, there's a header that said there's a deal available now. Click a link to schedule a call. That call will be directly with my partner, Tyler Lyons. And you can learn more about our investment thesis, how to partner with us on the next deal. And here's the tie-in. If you go through Fund of Funds Mastery, you can learn how to partner with us through a fund of funds on our next deal and rely on our focus, our boots on the ground operations, the fact that my partner lives in Phoenix and that we're saying no to everything else. You can rely on all of that through the Fund of Funds model. Hope that helps. Yes, my friends, that is right. That is 100% right. All right. Hey, listen, if you're watching this right now or you're watching it on a replay, ask your question below because I will absolutely get to it. Go to the video that you're watching right now. Comment your question. I will answer it next week. I love you guys. Thanks a bunch. And by the way, get your tickets to RaiseFest. We're raising the price soon. Get your tickets to RaiseFest. Peace.